I'm Deborah Atkinson. You're listening to Flipping 50, where I address your top struggles and concerns, and I share what to eat, how to move, and how to change your mindset. And oh my goodness, have we got a mindset episode for you? Just you wait. You have no idea what you're in for. But you have to change what you eat, how you move, and your mindset in order to have the energy and the vitality that you want, need, and deserve. If you're still dieting, it's time to ditch it. If you're still thinking exercise has to be punishing or hard, or you have to do more of it, it is also time to ditch that. And yet that's not where we're going with this episode. I'm going to teach you today how to change the space between your ears, well, with a little help from my guest. So let's take a look at what's ahead. What if I said right now you could be a new mom? You could have a toddler. You could have a kindergartner. Now, look, I don't know how old you are, but if you'd ever thought about having a baby in your late 40s, listen, a little secret about me. When I was 45, I was like, I'd still do it. I actually didn't hit menopause until I was 55. And so I kept thinking I could be in the Guinness Book of World Records. But that also would have been immaculate conception. So I won't go there, but I digress. My episode today is going to inspire you. Maybe not to start painting the nursery, but what it will inspire is the fact that there are no limits on what you can do physically. There may be limits about what you think. And we're going to talk about what you believe. In fact, we're going to talk a great deal about it. My friend and interviewee today is Kerry Tepedino. Right before the pandemic hit, at the very end of February, my last speaking event for, well, the year and for the last 20 months was her Believe event. And literally, it is all about making mindset shifts. And if you don't make a couple during this upcoming interview, I'm going to fall off my chair with surprise. You're going to love it. And I'm going to say again, she is 48 and she may have been nursing twins as we interviewed. All right, let's dive in. My guest and good friend is Carrie Tepedino. She's a global leader in women's personal development, focusing on mindset mastery, emotional intelligence, and self-love. She supports women in challenging their self-defeating behaviors and overcoming past traumas and fears to create a life of true happiness rooted in self-love. Her programs, including Perfect Health Mastery, AWAKEN, and Discover Your Sacred Self, have supported thousands of women on up-leveling their lives in all areas, including physical, mental, and emotional health, relationships, professional careers, finances, and more. Carrie, thanks so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. We're going to have so much fun. And for those of you who are in Deborah's tribe and community, wow, you guys hit the jackpot. She is so amazing. I love the whole Flipping 50 messaging. I love you, Deborah. As you know, we are good friends. I've seen you in action. I know the magic that you guide people to. And it's just so fun to be able to be here with you. And I just thank you for trusting me.
Of course. Okay. So legit, like you love Flipping 50, but you're not quite legal yet. So I'm going to have you spill the beans on that, because that's going to lay the foundation. And of course, we have to get to business eventually and talk about what we were here to talk about. But I really want to talk about the good and juicy stuff. So how old are you, girl?
I'm 48 and a half, so I'm almost in the Flipping 50 category, but ... right? Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not hitting milestones that the average 48 and a half year old would be hitting. I literally just had twins. I know, just under 6 months ago. And I have a girl and a boy. And then I'm 48, had twins. And I had my first son on my own at 42. So I have some different milestones that I'm hitting on my timeline for sure.
So love it. And literally, as we record, we're kind of coming off of a weekend together. I got to see these, well, actually 3 adorable children. So I saw the big brother, saw the 2 babies, saw them hanging off of their mama's tits. I mean, literally, I saw the whole thing. This woman, I want to be sure you understand, she did not have somebody else carry them. She carried them.
Yes.
And so I think that's also really important. But beyond that,
and I got to add in, because for all of our mamas who are joining us and our grandmas, and I did a vaginal delivery for both an hour apart. So yes, that means, ladies, you know what that means? That means I did 2 full deliveries and I am also breastfeeding.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're giving awards today, Carrie takes them all home. Okay. So just there's that.
We all get to take them all home because we all get to rise up together for sure.
So good. Okay. But this is not the end of the story. And really, it's not even the beginning. So I'm going to have you walk back to the very beginning. But
okay,
there's more. So
There's
6 months old twins. And by the way, she was traveling with them. The 3 of them had brought a small entourage of her mom and her aunt, but she had lost them. So she was navigating the 3 of them calmly. Can I just say calmly? Like, it is what it is, and they'll be here when they get here. And I'm like, oh my God, I would be freaking out.
I don't know. I still don't know how they ended up on a wrong or different freeway, but we all found each other, and I got to sit in that air conditioned lobby and nurse everybody. So we were good. But so this is an incredible, great story. Miracles left and right. I'm happy to share everything. Deborah, you can ask me anything that you feel can support your community. Just ask me. I'm really happy to do it. But what's the part that will help them the most? Because I have some pretty incredible stories, and I want to make sure that I'm giving the most that I can.
Well, I really think there may be 2 pieces. So one, I think the way you decided that no matter what else was in your life, that there would be a child in your life. And I think we also have to talk about the next chapter that you can already see and you're writing.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So first of all, I just want to share that for all of our friends here, really honestly, I truly believe no matter what your current age is, no matter what your current size is, or health status, economic status, wherever you are in your life, I promise you, you just stay under the wing of Deborah, you add me to that healing team, and you can create anything. Like, honestly, you can hit any result that you want to hit. It's all first starting in the way that you think. And that's why, so I'm the CEO and the founder of the One Thought Away project, because the truth is you're one thought away from being healthy and happy actually today, or not. And so really fine tuning that mindset is important. And what Deborah was touching on is when I was 35, I was told by somebody who is very, very well regarded Vedic astrologer, I would never get pregnant. And then I was told at 39, for those of you who are science-based, I was told by the top fertility doctor in all of San Diego, I would never get pregnant based on lab work. So I hit it from both sides, right? Like, I got knocked down from the science side and the spiritual side. And when I was 39, I really did allow that to impact how I was thinking for a few years. And my dad had passed away, my stepdad who raised me since I was 3. So he's my dad. He had passed away, and it was my first Father's Day without him. And I was a mess. Like, I was just a mess. I was sad. I was walking the beach by myself. I was crying. And he's laid to rest at a military a military cemetery here in San Diego. And at dawn and dusk, they play a bugle. And so I was there. I took him flowers at night, and the bugle's playing, and I'm sitting on this bench next to where he's laid to rest. And I have my red leather bound journal, and I am just writing. I'm just free flow writing like crazy, whatever's in my heart. And I'm getting all the pain out and all the sadness and all the grief. And it was just like this like, if you, everybody here knows that movie Back to the Future, when like the car goes into the future and it's this electrified moment. And if I was in a movie, it would have been like electrified like that, right? And there was just this moment. And can I cuss on your? I don't usually cuss. Okay. Yes. I don't usually cuss, but I was in that moment, and I was like writing in my red leather bound journal, and I'm like, fuck fear. Nobody gets to tell me what I can or cannot do with my body. Boom. And like the next morning, so I was walking the beach like I did every morning before work. And I was calculating, and I was like, okay, I'm going for this. I'm going to go get pregnant on my own. And so where my cycle was, that means I have like 2 weeks. And then I was like, oh no, wait a minute. That means I have like 2 days based on cycles and ovulation. And so I went home and I jumped online and I put in a search, sperm clinic. And like, long story short, this is a pretty long story, but long story short, I'll give you the important details. Called a sperm clinic that my fertility acupuncturist had told me about. And they wanted to interview me the next day, probably to make sure I was sane and that they were being responsible, right? And I had been taking my basal temps for, I don't know, like a year at that point, because I was just getting used to, I was taking all the steps that somebody who would want or get pregnant would be taking. So I was really into let's act as if, as part of my process. And I was taking my basal temps, and I'd never gotten the right reading to be fertile, like that, the right reading that you would need for that. And the next day, which was Wednesday, so Monday I was walking the beach. Tuesday, I got interviewed by the sperm clinic. Wednesday, I went and I checked my basal temps. For the first time ever, it was where I wanted it to be. Wow. And I knew in that moment it was going to happen. I knew it was a God moment. And I called the clinic, and I was like, oh my gosh, the basal temp's in the right place. They're like, okay, you need to go and choose your donor. And so I went online. It was like dating online, right? And I chose a few donors that looked like good matches. And Friday, they inseminated me, and I did an IUI, it's called. And it's basically like getting turkey basted, but it didn't work. And because my cycles were so close together at that point, because I really feel I was like going into perimenopause, they saw me like right away again the next week. I was pregnant within 2 or 3 weeks. Like, wow. It was insane. Yeah, it was insane. And so that was my first son, which, by the way, my first son, I thought he was a girl. I was sure he was going to be a girl. So before my dad passed, I had asked him to help me name a girl, because I always knew what my boy's name would be. It would be Eddie, after my grandpa, Lucky Eddie. I was also supposed to be an Eddie if I was a boy. So I was always going to have an Eddie. So I was talking to my dad about a girl's name, and we chose Grace, because the first thing that ever attracted him to my mom was her grace. And so then I get the call, Carrie, congratulations, you're having a boy. And I'm like, no, you're looking at the wrong files. This is Kerry Tepedino. I already know I'm having a girl. Carrie, you're having a boy. And so that sent me into, I prayed, I meditated the whole night. It sent me into this deep, deep reflection, sent me into my first hit of mom guilt. And, but by the next morning I had come around, and because it was just great. I felt my dad had helped named Grace, right? Not that I needed a boy or a girl, but it was just the involvement of my dad. So Grace became Grayson, which is my son. Grayson Scott was my dad's name. And then he was born on my dad's birthday.
Oh, how special is that?
Yeah. And my mom cut the umbilical cord. Super powerful. So that's child number 1. So I had him at 42 as a single mama. Yep. And then met my husband when my son was 2, and he He's the only dad he'll ever know. My husband is dad. And right from the get-go, we met in September. I think by October, we were trying to get pregnant. We met and married in 10 months and married him. First time I got married him at 45. And he's 4 years younger than I. And it took us 3 years of a fertility journey. We had miscarried on the day before Christmas in 2018, and we did tons of IVF, and we just did all that. And but we have our twins. So a 3-year journey. Carried them, birthed them vaginally, breastfeeding them, all that, and that was at 48.
And then the story is not over.
Okay, so then Deborah and I were together last weekend, and we did something called the passion test, and with our dear friend Janet Atwood's passion test, and it's awesome. Like, it just really helps you prioritize what's really important to me. Like, what fluff do I get to cut out of my life that's really not leading me to my grand vision? And I've only taken it twice. The first time I took it led to the twins because I got really clear, like, wow, like this is my marriage is number one. Having more babies is number two. I got really clear on that, and hence the twins. And then I just took it again for the second time last weekend. And I called my husband. I said, honey, I got to stop taking the passion test. Every time I take it, I get pregnant. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I really feel I want another girl. And he's like, yeah, I want another girl too. Why stop at just one more? So I got home late last night from Palm Springs or Palm Desert, and we've already chosen a girl's name. And just looking at the timeline, I think, we'll really go for it. And when I'm like 50, I'll probably get pregnant or get a surrogate when I'm 49 and probably birth around 50.
That is so amazing. I cannot wait. So definitely we have to have you back.
When I can legally, I can truly be a part of the flipping 50.
True. Right? Well, true that. And oh my gosh, such an amazing story. So we always have to hear the happy ending.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. And it already is a happy ending. I mean, you are like the ultimate manifester.
Huh? Yes, thank you. You got to be careful about what you focus on, right? What you believe in.
Be targeted, be specific. Okay, so it's almost silly of me to ask this question, why are you so passionate about mindset mastery or emotional mastery and self-love, the things you're known for? Because clearly there's a reason, and I would imagine you want to share this with everybody, but is there something beyond that?
Well, here's the thing. I honestly believe that our mind, so I'm one of those geeky girls that loves to really study. I study the brain, I study the mind, and I truly, truly believe that the mind is one of our most under-leveraged tools for most people on this planet. And if you really focus in and you start to develop your mindset and you really learn skills and strategies, because most people aren't born with this. It's a skill that you can acquire. I truly believe that. And when you start to shift how your mind works and you learn how to fire off the thoughts, the desires, the goals, the dreams, the visions that you really, really do want to attain, and you strengthen that programming in your brain. I really do believe we can achieve anything. Everything is starting in the way that we think. Everything, even so let me say this. For our friends who are here, unless you are driving, if you're driving, please be safe. But as you listen to this, but if you look around the room that you're sitting in right now, is it messy? Is it clean? Is it beautifully decorated? Is it just kind of thrown together? What is the state of your current environment that you're sitting in? That started in your mind. If you look down, so this is great for your community, Deborah. If you look down, unless you're driving, look down at your body. What is the state of your body? Are you in shape? Are you strong? Do you feel like you have great balance? Do you make wise nutrition choices? Are you hydrated? Do you sleep enough? All of that first started in the way that you think. It all first started in in like you believing in yourself. Like, yes, I can do this. I am capable of this. I deserve this. A big, big one for women. I deserve this. It
Yes.
all started in your mind first and foremost. So for those who believe like I don't deserve this, or it's too hard to get in shape, or I'll put my kids and my grandkids first, I'll focus on me once my kids go to college, whatever the mindset is, it's old, it's from your childhood. And so if that's where you're at, though, those are the results. Your results are going to be based on that. So yesterday thoughts, yesterday feelings, yesterday actions, they're going to get yesterday results. You can't expect a different result. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even professionally, you cannot expect a different result if you're thinking yesterday thoughts. So, what do you want to create in your life? And let's go get it, is really how I think.
I love all of that. And certainly I know there are listeners out there who feel this urge, like almost compulsive need to serve others and put themselves last, and are caught between an incongruency, maybe wanting to, have something, be something, change something, and yet feeling that they're unable to. So talk to me a little bit about, I mean, clearly those are skills. So how
Yeah.
is learning those skills, how's it changed your life beyond the babies and the husband? I mean, beyond your whole list of
Yeah.
excellent things we talked about, but in the day-to-day moments with yourself.
Yeah, so this is great. So, as you guys can imagine, my life right now, like I have a lot of people depending on me, right? Just family wise, not even including my team and my clients. I've been in the health, wellness, personal development space for 20 years. I've supported thousands and thousands of women. It would be really, really easy for me to not take time for myself, because like this is the busiest season I've ever had in my life, is right now.
Mm-hmm.
um, and even with that being said, in the morning, regularly, like normally my mornings, like I'll feed the twins, I'll breastfeed the twins, and then I'll get a couple bottles ready if I feel they may need bottles before I get back. But I'll breastfeed them, I'll nurse them. I get my son up and ready if start breakfast, get breakfast going, and I'm out the door. I am out the door. I live half a block from the beach. I'm out the door. I put my tennis shoes on. I go take time to myself. I go get my exercise in. I meditate and pray. I do visualizations down at the beach. If the tide's high, I don't like turn around and go, oh, I guess I'm not going to run today. If the tide's high and there's no beach, I run the stairs, so I make it happen because I know that if I don't take care of myself first, nobody wins. My clients, my team, my kids, my husband, nobody wins. And so I am just really, really adamant. Like, I've been that woman who put herself last, and I ended up 50 pounds overweight. I ended up an emotional eater. I was super stressed. My confidence was low. My courageous was dimmed down. I had an eating disorder. Like, I've been that woman, and I'm never going back there again. It's not worth it.
And I'm so glad you said that, because I hadn't even, there are too many other miracles here that distracted me, because you mentioned just now that you are 50 pounds overweight. And I'm going to give everybody here a link, an opportunity to go and see what the Carrie that I see, at least pre-twins, and she is almost back there, people. I mean,
Yes,
seriously.
yeah.
She looks fantastic.
Thank you.
And I say that not to put pressure on anyone for any moment that they're in their life, but I also think that there is a mindset to that,
Hmm.
that is your expectation. It's not that you've shrunk into a certain role that maybe looks a certain way. It's that you've got a way of living your life. And I want to pull something out of your bio. So I talked about 3 programs that you've got. One of them being Discover Your Sacred Self.
Hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Sacred Self system that you
Sure.
created?
Yeah, so the sacred self system is really intertwined in everything we do. It's a 5-step system. Step 1 is mindset. Step 2 is emotional mastery. Step 3 is relationship to self. Step 4 is becoming and staying present. So let me speak a little bit more about this one because it's not as obvious as the others. So what that means is you're not checking out, numbing out, or escaping with your vice. So my vice was food. Somebody else's vice might be that extra glass of wine, and all of a sudden you come down, you go to your kitchen in the morning. It's like, whoa, who drank all the wine? There's an empty bottle on the counter again, right? So it might be alcohol, it could be social media. That's a big one now.
I was just going to ask you about that.
Yep.
I do think that there are a lot of midlife women who are really, I find sometimes, I hate to throw any relatives under the bus, but I find that sometimes I feel like I'm in a room full of teenagers when I'm with my siblings.
Yeah, right. Because everybody's on their phone.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So step 4, becoming and staying present, it means you're not using your vices to check out, escape, or numb out. So food, social media, shopping, work is one, alcohol, cigarettes, sex, gambling, whatever the vice is. We all have some vice, right? So raising your awareness around it and learning to stay present with your emotions and present in the moment, that actually helped me take 50 pounds off. And then step 5 of the sacred self system is learn to sustain the transformation. And I think that is a step that a lot of authors, speakers, trainers, a lot of people out there leading other people. I think that one often doesn't get enough emphasis. And I think part of that is, I know this isn't you, Deborah, so I definitely know this isn't you because I know you very, very well. So I feel very comfortable saying this on your program. But there are a lot of people out there that don't teach people how to fish. They give them the fish because they want them to continue to be clients, right? And they want that revolving door of that clientele happening. That's not my concern. My concern is giving women like you, Deborah, you're the exact same way, giving women what they need, the skills, the tips, the tools, the mindset to create that foundation. Because once that foundation is built underneath you, then we get to go have a lot more fun. We get to like create that life. Like once we help you, this is how we work our program. So once I've been able to support a woman in becoming the woman she wants to be, that's step 1, right? And then what we get to do is we get to go create the life that you really want to have. But life happens. Life happens to all of us. I don't care how skinny, beautiful, rich, smart, famous, whatever you are. We all experience life. None of us escape it. So unless you have those tools to be you, be the best version of you possible, when life happens, that could be at something as serious as a heartbreak or a scary diagnosis or loss of a loved one, or it could be sitting in traffic, right? Whatever's considered stressful to you. But when life happens, unless you have your personal development skills under your belt, what happens for most people is they go back to their vice, right? And so really creating this strong foundation is, I feel, very critical, is what saved my life. And help me be able to create the life that I have today.
I love that. So I think there may be listeners. So I'm going to try to put into words, listeners, the question that you might ask right now. And I think, wanting a different kind of life or life circumstances than you're in right now at the moment is something everybody can recognize on some level. But, when you're ready for a transformation, you're ready for some kind of change. Do you run into this where it's actually quite hard for women to put into words when asked, what do you want?
Yes, I do run into this. And the reason is because a lot of women have been conditioned to think, or conditioned to put other people first, or to think I'll get to me when, right? I'll get to me tomorrow, or whatever that conversation is. And so I have had a lot of women when they first find us say, I don't even know what I want anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so disconnected. Like, I don't even know what I want. And so, one of the first things that we do, which, I know we're going to talk about the Believe event, but so let me say this: on day one of the Believe event, one of the first thing we do is we help get clarity, and we help women dream again, and we help them give themselves permission. You don't need permission from me. It's like we help women understand it's okay to give yourself permission to dream again and to have that vision and to let go of the old stories, the old programming around yes, but. Yes, I really want that, but I'll wait till my kids go to college. Or yes, I really want that, but I'm not going to go for that until I lose 50 pounds. Like, we help get rid of that. And we really get into the conversation of the and. Yes, I want that. And I can do that right now, even though my life is busy, or even though I haven't reached my goal weight, or even though fill in the blank, right? And so, helping a lot of women, most women, a lot of women don't have that clarity of vision piece. And when we go into that piece with them, I mean, I've seen women cry. I've seen women like be overjoyed. I've seen women experience it all because they're finally giving themselves permission to say, to get honest with themselves and say, this is actually what I want.
I love that. I love that. So, and I do absolutely want to dive in now to talk about the Believe event, because I know it's coming up, and I want to just give listeners my recollection of it.
Yeah.
Really, so it's now been, we've been saying, 18 months and 19 months in the pandemic, but seriously, so for me, it was 18 or 19 months minus 2 really was
Right.
the last live event that I did in 2020
Yeah.
before the pandemic hit. And fortunately have that great memory. But what I remember most, Carrie, is just the magic that you create in the room and on stage, and the way you so powerfully are present the entire time. You're lit up. Your energy is just completely authentic, though. I think we've all been in rooms like, well, in Vegas, right? And performers can do that for a short period of time, but to do that for morning and afternoon and evening at a 3-day event is really quite something extraordinary. And I watched what you create, and I just want you to, in your own words, talk a little bit about the evolution that can happen over those 3 days for a woman attending.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to receive that. Thank you. That filled my heart. I am so passionate about the Believe event, as you know. So, everybody, Deborah, I invited Deborah onto our stage because I believe in her so much. She was on our stage for February 2020, which was it's going to be about 2 years, which is just crazy. It's a year, just over a year and a half. And Deborah rocked it, and we loved her up there. But I'm so passionate about the Believe event because we've had thousands of women come to it. This is our 6th annual. And I've had countless women say there was life for them before the Believe event, and then there was life for them after the Believe event. Because it is magic what happens there. Just this total transformation of seeing women finally believe in themselves like they never have before, and letting go of the stories and letting go of the sabotage, the perfectionism, the procrastination, the vices, the negative self-talk of I can't, or I'm not good enough, or what will people think of me, like all those fears that keep us playing small. And what I will say about this is that the Believe event is an experience. It's not just another event, like Deborah, like you've kind of mentioned. It's a full body, beautiful experience that I have had countless women who have been to, a lot of events come and say they've never experienced anything like it before. And this year, for the first time ever, just because of everything going on in the world, we're going to do it as an online event. And even with that being said, what we're going to be doing there, I've been to hundreds of online events, and what we're going to be doing there, I've never seen it anyplace else. It's so special. And at that event, day one, we're going to help everybody who's there, 21 years and older, women 21 years and older. We're going to help all of them really get a newfound vision on their life. If they're at a rock bottom, we're going to get them to good. If you're at good, we're going to get you to great. If you're at great in your life already, we're going to help you get to extraordinary. And there's something there for everybody. And day one is super exciting around raising awareness. What do you really want? Allowing yourself to understand it's okay to want that. And day two, we go into the how. Like, how do you make that happen? And then day three, we give you the roadmap to making sure that this becomes a reality for you. And one last thing, and I'll hand it back over to you, Deborah, but if my life is a testament to this work. Like, I was that woman, 50 pounds overweight, crying on her bathroom floor, didn't have intimate relationships because I didn't love, accept, and believe in myself. I was that woman a few decades ago, and I wasn't even dreaming as big as my life is right now. Like, I didn't even know how to dream this big. And if I can do it, I honestly, with all my heart, I just know that our friends here can do it too. I'm just 2 steps ahead of you guys, but you do need the right strategies, and they're in the right order and the right people around you to make it happen. I know that. I've worked with thousands and thousands of women, and it's not because you're not strong enough or you don't have enough willpower or anything like that. It's not because of that. It's because you're human, and we weren't meant to do life alone. We're not meant to be lone wolves. We're meant to do it together. So it's really about getting the strategies that are proven, that work, so you can let go of overwhelm, let go of confusion. You can call in clarity. You can call in the dreams, and you can make it happen. That's the key.
I love it. I love every little piece of this. And I want to make sure listeners, you know where to go. So first of all, you're going to get to see Carrie. So you've got to see that, right? From talking about her time when she was 50 pounds overweight to seeing what she looked like on stage at the most recent event. It's flipping50.com/believe 2021. And that's in the show notes, and you'll see that again. And I'll put those show notes at flipping50.com/believe Carrie, Kerry. But Carrie, so anything else that you can speak into about what is the one thing that you feel is the most important thing when a woman wants to do the transformation, wants to identify what is her own vision for herself? What's the one unique piece that she really needs?
Become masterful of how you think, hands down. Hands down, because whatever you think, whatever is where you're going to put your focus and your energy and your attention, even if it's unconscious that what you're doing, which it usually is for most people until they have the level of training that we give. But wherever you're putting your focus, whatever you're thinking about is going to become your reality. So if you're always thinking this is hard, life is hard, this is a struggle, oh my gosh, when are we going to get over this pandemic? Oh my gosh, when am I ever going to lose this last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds? Why isn't my body cooperating? Why can't I run anymore? Wherever you're thinking, that's what's going to continue to get stronger for your life. And so, this thinking, this mindset piece, you're one thought away. You're one thought away from flipping 50 in the most amazing way or not. And so it's really about understanding you can have it all. You can have that life partner. You can have the kids, the grandkids. You can have the financial abundance. You can have the body. You can have the strength. You can have that Iron Man medal if that's important to you. You can have it all. but it will demand something different from you than what it demanded from you to get to where you are today. And so it's about getting the right mentorship, being surrounded by the right people, the right tribe, the right community, and getting the strategies and skills to get you there.
Love it. So well said. All right. Before we let you go, is there a question I should have asked you? Something you'd like to speak to?
I think that I would say is, I hear from some people, well, how long will it take? Right? People always want to know that. And what I'm going to say is, if you've been in the situation you've been in for years or a decade or decades, it's not going to take that long to turn it around if you show up, if you raise your hand and you just play full out with me. It doesn't happen overnight. I am not the trainer for you or an instructor for you if you want the magic pill. I'm super honest. If anybody tells you something can happen overnight, please run for the hills. Any author, speaker, anybody, run for the hills. So I'm super honest. This isn't going to happen overnight, but it does happen really fast. And it happens a lot faster and easier than most expect, but you got to get in the game. You've got to raise your hand. You've got to go grab that spot that Deborah is inviting you to grab at the Believe event. You can't sit on the couch, eat chips every night, binge on Netflix and wonder why you're not losing weight. You got to get in the game. And, I'll walk to the ends of the earth for you to have that life that you want. And I need you to partner with me. We get to lock arms and do that together.
So well said. I love that too. And that is exactly the kind of person you are. So I'm so glad you were here, my friend.
Thank you. As are you.
All right, everybody. That was, again, flipping50.com/believe 2021 is the link to check out the event. And if you have a question that I didn't ask Carrie and you'd like the answer to, you can put that below the show notes at flipping50.com/believe Carrie. Either one. Great places to go for your resources for today. And what are you waiting for? Let's start Flipping 50 today.